And indeed, welcome to the house that paper make in Camas, Washington. The Camas paper makers playing their football in the shadows of Crown Zellerback are about to receive. This game is afoot. Dexter Palmer and the opening kickoff, and he's up to the 25-yard line, and we will now take a look, our first look of the season, I guess you'd call it, of the Camas Papermakers offense. Good evening, everybody. Joe Cerami and Jerry Taggart, Jim Barner down on the sideline, and we've got Double-A football for you tonight here in Camas, Washington.
He didn't look like he had much trouble with his footing on that kickoff return, Jerry.
Number 12, Brian Carroll is the quarterback for the Camas Papermakers, leading the league in touchdown passes right now with 7. He hands off to the first man through the hole. That was number 24, Randy Reed, and he picks up a couple of yards. Interesting note here, Randy Reed happens to be all-conference defensive back from last season.
Now they play in the tailback with the 2 slot backs and 2 wide receivers. They have many operations out of that offense that they can perform.
And we'll get to the starting offensive unit here. 2nd down and 6, close to the 30-yard line. Second man gets the ball. And he's still dragging. And let's take a look now at the Camas Papermakers offensive unit. Wide receiver Todd Taylor, quarterback Brian Carroll, fullback Randy Reed, running backs John Montgomery, Reese Kaler, and wide receiver Mike Anderson. On the line, your guard Don Jones, your tackles Brian Anderson and Steve Benke. Your other guard is Rich Barkowski, playing in the place of the injured Dan Grafton, and your center tonight is Sandy Strait. And it looks like we have a penalty here. A little
holding.
Yes,
That's right.
It's Camas.
That big gain was taken back, and now it's going to be about 2nd down and 15.
Yeah, make it a long 15. Back to pass. Carroll has Reese Kaler, number 44, off to the left side. Hit by a couple of tacklers out of the 40-yard line. He gets some of that yardage back, and he's going to be looking real close to a first down for the Papermakers.
That was a beautiful pass. He threw it out in the flat. A quick pass out in the flat. You're going to see here, number 12, the quarterback, Carroll, throws a pass to 44 out in the flat, and his blocker's out there, and he picks up most of that yardage that they lost on the penalty. Beautiful play.
Third down and 3. About the 38-yard line. Kaler in motion. Hands off to Reed. And Reed gets out to about the 43-yard line. Good enough for a first down for the Papermakers. They're on a nice little roll here, Joe.
You bet they are. Aaron Swanson, number 6, is the man on the defensive. He's a safety man. He came up and made the tackle after the first down was already made. However, it was a good defensive play.
And speaking of the defense, we'll be checking out the Mark Morris defense after this next play. It's a first down and 10. Well, there you go. There's the defense. Your right tackle is Berger. Stange is the nose guard. And we'll get back to that defensive alignment right after this. First down and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Kaler again, number 44, out to the left side there. He gets out to the 45, mark it a gain of about 2 yards. Getting back to that defensive unit now for the Mark Morris Monarchs. On the line, your nose guard is Mike Stange. Right tackle is Eric Burden. Left tackle is Rob Perry. Your outside linebackers, Jay Opgran and Tony Silvery. Your inside linebacker, Blaine Reeves.
They were lined up in the pro set that time. They faked to the front man and handed it off to the second man who ran to the left and picked up a little over 2 yards.
All right, let's pick up the rest of the defensive unit now for the Mark Morris Monarchs while we got the time here. Your inside linebackers are Blaine Reeves, number 7, and number 40, Ed Ehrig. Your cornerbacks are Rich Wilson, Andy Mason. Your safety is Aaron Swanson, and your monster, your free safety, Matt Davis. That's how they're lining up offensively and defensively for the teams that are out there. We seem to have a bit of a question going on here. Now they start the clock again.
It's like a little equipment problem, and they took the man out to get it fixed up.
Second and long, 8 from their own 45-yard line. Reed, the sole setback. Carroll back to pass. Todd Taylor has the reception in Mark Morris territory. They'll spot it about the 48-yard line. Nice little pickup there. Bring up third down and short. Depending on where they spot it, it'll bring down third down and about 2 yards.
Yeah, that pass is what they call a quick slanting pass. You'll see the quarterback drop back just 3 or 4 steps and then quick pass right over the outside linebacker, and usually a good pass, successful pass.
Third down and 2. That's Montgomery in motion. Handoff goes to Reed. Reed down to about the 45-yard line. Looks like it'll be good enough for another Papermaker first down. As we mentioned in the pregame show, Joe, the Papermakers have 9 returning starters in the offensive unit, and it looks like that is paying off, at least right now.
Oh, it's such a tremendous asset to know what the man in front of you can do, what the halfbacks can do behind you. The quarterback has got a tremendous advantage with all that experience in front of him and behind him. He's got outstanding running backs.
What's hard to understand is why they're 0-2 in league play right now. Starting off 4-0. Taylor gets the ball and in round. He's going to get down close to the 40-yard line, mark it short about the 42-yard line, pick up a couple of yards there. We'll bring up second down and make it a long 7.
I think you know as well as I do, Jerry, in sports, anybody can beat anybody anytime, and it's not unusual for a team that gets a good start in the season to feel like, oh boy, we got it made, and then get a little too far up and have a team that's saying, hey, this is the team we want to upset. They're ready for an upset. And that's probably what happened to Camas. It's a tough situation for a coach to understand.
Could have happened to a lot of teams in the AA this year. Ari Long Lumberjacks, figuring to be dead last in the league, have just been surprising a lot of people. Kaler had that in and out of his hands. And they're going to call that a non-reception. He dropped it, didn't have it.
No, they called it incomplete on one side. The other coach called it complete. And wait a minute, now the referees are having a little conference there, and I don't know whether they decided it was a completed pass. He had possession.
Had a completion.
And it's a fumble.
Well, let's find out. You make your own decision here.
Yeah, you're going to see here the quarterback quick slant, and again he catches the ball and then he drops it, and it didn't look like he had possession. However, the referee called it long enough, and Mark Morris gets the first break in the ball game.
Well, you only have to have it 1 second in the NFL. Apparently, that's all you have to have it here in the high school ranks. Anyway, on the fumble recovery. Take a look now at the Mark Morris Monarchs. Throwing on first down. Does he have it?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He had that thing on his fingertips.
That was Rich Wilson reception there. Let's take a look at the Mark Morris Monarchs offensive unit now. Your right end, Rob Perry. Your right tackle, Jeff Stevenson. Right guard, Mike Strange. I'll get his name right. Your center is Scott Zommers. Your left guard is Eric Oswald. Your left tackle is Rob Noah. And that is Sean Mertz, number 81, playing in place of number 84, Rob Perry there tonight. Second down and a yard. Toby Infield, number 24, gets the call that time. He's going to be real close to a first down there right in front of us. Well, Joe, let's get your eagle eyes working here. What do you think? Is that a first down?
It's a first down, yes. He was over the first down marker, and they pushed him back after the tackle, so it's a first down. That last pass that Matt Davis threw, number 9 for Mark Morris, that was an outstanding pass and a beautiful catch. I mean, that young man caught that pass with his fingertips falling to the ground. It was a beautiful pass.
And not afraid to throw on first down. We could have an interesting game here. Coaches, as we mentioned in the pregame, both know that 0-2 is not out of the title contention yet. Davis back to pass again. He's going to keep it. He gets out to the left side, or the right side, I should say, down over the 50-yard line. They'll mark it at the 48-yard line of the Camas Papermakers. Be second down and call it 5. Take a look now at the rest of the offense for the Mark Morris Monarchs. You split in Rich Wilson, your quarterback, number 9, Matt Davis. Your running backs, Jay Opgran, Toby Infield, and your flanker, number 82, Jeff Denny. And possibly after this next play, we'll get to the Camas Papermakers defense, and then we'll have the entire starting lineups for you there. Second down and 5, just over the 50-yard line. Hands off to the second man. That was number 24, Toby Infield. And Infield, again, Going to be
First
close to
down.
another first down.
I think he made it by a little over the ball length. That was a fake to the front man and a handoff to the deep back, and just bingo.
All right, here's your Camas defense. At the corner, Todd Taylor. Outside linebacker, Darren Hammock. Your inside linebacker, Randy Reed. Your monster, Dar Kirk. Corner, John Montgomery. And the other outside linebacker, Reese Kaler. We'll get to the rest of the defense after this. First and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Gets out of one mess and simply underthrows his intended receiver.
Yes, that was a great job on the quarterback's part avoiding that tackle. There is a flag on the play, and I guess it's against Mark Morris. The officials calling the Camas captain over to discuss it with him.
And there's the rest of our defense there for the Papermakers. Your strong safety, Mike Anderson. Your linebacker, Toby Shin. Linesman, Don Jones. Steve Benke in your nose guard. Rich Bartkowski. Bartkowski has his hands full tonight trying to fill in the shoes of all-conference nose guard Dan Grafton.
That was a 10-yard penalty for holding on the part of the Mark Morris team. You're starting to see what the nose guard means and your outside linebacker means when you lose two of your top people. That's where they've been running the ball.
And that pass is blocked, I should say, by number 76.
Almost caught by a lineman. That is a thrill of a lifetime for a lineman to block a pass and catch it and run into that end zone. He started to run after he picked it up on the bounce.
Well, the man that got his hands on that is the man we were just talking about, number 76, Rich Bartkowski.
Yes, the man was wide open. They may come back with that pass very soon because he was open over there on the sideline, and they may come back. It's a slant pass to the wide receiver.
Early on in the contest, double-A league play here between Camas and Mark Morris. Both of these teams be pulling out all the stops tonight. And Davis has his man. Well, they're calling him number 34, and I don't even have
24.
24?
Yes, it was,
okay.
It was infield out of the backfield. Out in the flat, right. Quarterback. It's his last resort receiver, and the rest of his offensive men were covered, so he fed it out there to his reserve man.
My spotter and I are just quickly looking over here. Where is number 34 on the program here? And there is no 34, so it must be number 24. Okay.
Yeah, he delays out of that backfield and goes into the flat.
Third down and 15. 5:31 left here in the first quarter. Davis back to pass again. In heavy traffic, almost picked off there. Intended receiver was Jeff Denny, number 82, and that was ill-advised. He was well covered on that.
Oh, yes, the Camas defense was well placed on that particular pass. Number 9 did a great job in not getting that thing intercepted. He has all day to pass back there, and it looks like they're going to kick. And this number 10, I was watching him before the game, and he can really boot the ball.
Dar Kirk is a lone setback for the Camas Papermakers. And he's setting up just short of his own 20-yard line. We have a flag on the play, so the kick will not get off.
It looks like Camas may have went a little bit too soon. That's just my guess. However, the referee has got to make that decision. Here's that last pass play. Number 9 has all day long to throw the pass. The two defensive men just closed in on the pass receiver. It could have been intercepted. It was against Mark Morris. Jerry, they're penalizing him 5 yards for encroachment.
Well, they're moving. They're just moving the wrong way. Already the officials have had their hands full tonight. Fourth down and mark it at about 20 yards. Barely gets that one off. And again, that's Dar Kirk, his own 20-yard line. And he gets a rather rude reception down there, just short of the 30-yard line. We're going to go down to the sidelines now, and Jim Barner.
Okay, one thing you might want to notice tonight, it isn't raining right now, but it has been. The field's a little bit slippery. Both quarterbacks, when they're passing, the majority of the time they're taking about a 2 or 3 step drop, just a real quick drop, and getting rid of the ball. That way they don't have to worry about losing their footing as they take a deep drop or roll out.
First and 10 for the Camas Papermakers from their own 27-yard line. Taylor in motion, number 44. The handoff, however, goes to Randy Reed, and Reed picks up a couple of yards, bring up a second down and 9, make it 8.
They ran a drop play that time. The quarterback dropped back like he was going to pass, and the safety or the setback sits there until the quarterback gets to him. He hands it off to him, and he picked up about 3 yards on that play.
About 3 yards on the play. Second down and 7. We're counting down here in the first period. 4.5 minutes left to play. It's a stash of footballs. Kaler again, he's tripped up in the backfield by John Montgomery, number 29 for Mark Morris, and he was just right through there like a hot knife through butter.
He just tripped him up. The block was not as effective as it should have been, and as a result, he made the tackle. I think this has been a very well-played game so far. Both teams have done a super job out there. It's an even match, huh?
Well, both teams playing on adrenaline. They know the season's not over yet. However, after tonight, one team will fairly well be able to write off any title contention from this season. Very important game for both teams. Carroll's back to pass this time. He's under pressure.
Oh, boy.
No reception. Incomplete.
It was a very, very well covered defensively. Number 6, Aaron Swanson, was all over the pass receiver. In fact, there could have been a little offensive interference on that play.
They were jostling for position down there as the ball was up.
They're going to have to give the ball back to Mark Morris. The Monarchs have held them.
Jeff Riley, number 32, the long setback for Mark Morris. Ball hits down to 40. He picks it up at the 30 and goes sliding out of bounds. Nice hook slide into second base there at around the 36.
The field is quite slippery. That's probably one of the safest ways to get tackled there is in football, with the feet out under you first, and there's just no way you can be injured on a play like that. I know a lot of ball players would rather play on a muddy field than play on a dry field.
Oh, I remember that was part of the fun, getting all dirty. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I see a lot of nods around the booth around here. That's where you play football, yes. From their own 36-yard line. Taylor hands off to Opgren, and Opgren is off to the races, and he's stopped at the 45-yard line and pick up of, about 8 yards on the play. Make it 7.
There was a huge hole on that left side that if it hadn't been for the defensive halfback, he may have gone for a lot more yardage than that.
Well, Joe, I understand we have a change of plans for next week. Looks like we're going to go set over at McKenzie Stadium for the next few weeks here, it looks like. More on that later on here during the game. Back to pass. Matt Davis has an open man in and out of the hands of number 24, Toby Enfield. Enfield had beat the defensive coverage, and he was just wide open. If he had turned maybe the other way around and kept going.
Number 9, Davis, threw that pass on the run. He did not have to throw that pass on the run. He could have stopped and planted and thrown. He had nobody in his area to sack him, and maybe he could have thrown the pass a little bit more efficiently. He's got a great arm. He does a great job.
Third and 3 from their own 45-yard line. Davis hands off to Enfield. And Enfield is met at the line of scrimmage, call it no gain.
There's a case where Dan Grafton, they went right through his hole, and now he's sitting on the sideline, and he's probably saying, nice going, replacement, whoever you are. That's what I would have done if I was out there.
All the pressure on the defense tonight is on that nose guard, number 76, Rich Bartkowski, and right now he's doing a job.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying Dan feels good when he sees that hole filled by Mr. Bartkowski.
Oh, he's pumping up his replacement. You can bet on that. Again, Darkirk, lone setback for the reception, for the kick. Gets it near his own 20-yard line, up to the 25, where he is finally brought down by Rob Noah.
There looks to be like nobody is doing any blocking, because when that punter receives that punt, there's about 5 to 6 white shirts around him, and if I was him, I'd throw up a white flag and surrender. I mean, there's just nothing for him to do but get punished. They gave him to where he had got the ball, and not where he fell, not where they downed him. So he picked up about 5 yards on that punt return.
Starting from their own 25-yard line, the Papermakers. Reese Kaler in motion there, number 44. And a quick handoff to number 24, Randy Reed. And Reed gets nowhere in a hurry.
The middle linebacker, number 40, Ed Ehrig, made an outstanding tackle on that play. He went right through the center and got the runner from behind.
Yeah, we're counting off the final seconds of the first quarter here at Camas High, 45 seconds and counting. No score on the board yet.
This is a definite pass play here, and this quarterback can throw as well as the quarterback Davis from Mark Moore.
2nd and 9. Outlet pass goes to Kaler, and Kaler is met immediately by number 86, Rich Wilson.
The key to making that play successful is the end. He's supposed to make a block. Number 11, you'll see number 11, he does not make a block. Todd Taylor missed a block, and of course he got nailed for about a 5-yard loss. That block is the most important part of that flat pass out there to the sideline.
Now you see the crowd just kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen.
There's the quarter.
Well, something has happened. We've reached the end of the first 12 minutes of play here at Camas High School. There is no score on the board. We'll be back with the second quarter of action right after this. Stay with us, folks. Reception out over the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 32. Pickup of 10 yards on the play. And it will bring up a 4th down and about 4 yards, so they will
Here's
kick.
the replay on that last pass. Number 12, Carroll, goes out to the, he rolls out to the right and hits number 11 right on the numbers, but not for enough yardage.
Hits a kickoff. Nice kick. And it's going to go over the man's head there. That was Jeff Denny, number 82. Just let it go over his head, and Camas touches it dead down on, looks like about the 20-yard line.
That's a very wise decision that man made. If he would have tried to catch that pass and not caught it, it would have been a free ball, and there were 3 black jerseys down there immediately, and it would have been lost of possession, and that's too deep in the enemy territory to lose the ball.
Well, the way these two teams are playing right now, you get the idea that it's going to be a key offensive mistake that's going to lead to our first points tonight.
We anticipated a great ball game. It's an evenly matched ball game.
And for the most part, we've had that. Most of the play has been near the middle of the field. Davis hands off to the left side there, out close to the 25-yard line. Let's see who gets up to the bottom of the pile there.
Number 24.
Looked like number 29, Jay Opgren, or possibly Toby Enfield.
Yes, it could have been. I think it could have been either one of them, Jerry. From where we're sitting right up here, very difficult to see. It was still good for 6 yards.
Oh, Vancouver, I hope you've had a chance by now to get over that hacking cold and cough that's been nagging you for the last few weeks. Joe and I are just getting over ours. And it just seems to be one of those things that just really just spread like wildfire through the community. That was number 24, Toby Enfield. Gets out first down for the Monarchs there. Anyway, Joe and I will be hacking and coughing just a little bit. It's getting better every week now.
And that happened. I'm sorry. It's something you just can't control. However, I'd just like to comment on that last play. Number 24 came around the right end, and he just was gone, and he slipped in the slippery turf, and there's a break for, here you see the replay. Fast pitch out to 24. He breaks outside. Now he's trying to cut back, and if he'd have kept going straight, he might have cleared the field.
And I think tonight you can see that the straight line is probably going to be the best offense. Davis under a little pressure there on the keeper. And he gets out over the 35-yard line. Going to bring him a few yards short of a first down. And about the 37, and about the 37-yard line. That's where they're going to mark it.
That was definite. It was a definite pass play, and you're going to see here there's a breakdown. The pass receivers aren't open. A man, number 61, is in on him, and he decides to put the ball under his arm and run. And that's basically the quarterback's responsibility to do that when he doesn't have a receiver open.
That was Don Jones providing the defensive pressure there. Jones is a defensive tackle, a left tackle. 2nd down and 4.
There's another slip.
And another slip. And it looks like, again, that went to Toby Infield.
You know, at the beginning of the game, we commented on Mr. Carroll's ability as a quarterback passer. But I have to say this in all honesty, this Matt Davis for Mark Morris does a super job with that ball.
Well, if neither team is going to be successful with the running game tonight, we should see some aerial fireworks here if they can get that off. It is not raining. However, I got rained on twice just coming over here. And the field is slippery. Again, that was Toby Infield. The infield is to the 40-yard line. We'll bring up a 4th down. Call it a short 2. Be interesting to see whether they decide to go for it now. I would think that they're going to kick.
They're going to kick, right. They're going to have to kick. Again, our friend number 76, the nose guard, Rich Bartkowski, was in on that tackle. They're attacking that hole because they think the guy that's gone is stronger than the guy that's there, and that's not proved out so far.
Reisner gets a kickoff. It's a good one. Darkirk is down his own 25-yard line, and he calls for a free catch, and he'll spot it at the 25-yard line, where the Papermakers will take over 1st and 10.
Yep.
Okay, on the change of the teams here, we got a few seconds here. Let's take a look at the first quarter statistics.
Mark Morris, 2 first downs, 9 yards rushing, 11 yards passing for a total 20 yards, no turnovers. Camas, 2 first downs, 23 yards rushing, 14 yards passing, total 37 yards on offense with 1 turnover. Very close ball game.
Statistics not too important at this point. That was a timing pattern. Taylor has it, and Taylor is out over the 40-yard line. They'll mark it at the 44. That ball was up in the air before Taylor even knew where he was at.
Strictly a timing pattern. Now you're going to see here on this replay that we're going to show you that number 12 is just dropping back, and he throws that pass long before number 11 is even anywhere near where he catches the pass. The tackle was made by Matt Davis, the quarterback on the other team, who was playing safety man on defense.
If I remember right, Barner down on the sideline was telling us it was Mark Morris quarterback, Matt Davis, that was taking the 2 steps back. We haven't seen him do that tonight.
No,
but what we just saw was that what he was talking about.
Right.
Maybe he had Camas on this one.
Well, could be.
Could be. 1st and 10.
He's not going any place. I think he's lucky if he got back to the line of scrimmage, if they give him that much. Yes, I think they're giving him right back to the line of scrimmage.
And that was Darren Hammock, number 88 for Camas Papermakers. Second down and 10. Just over 7.5 minutes here in the second quarter at the Paper Palace in Camas, Washington. No score. Reed in motion. Carroll back to pass. Fake pumps. Gets outside.
Oh, man.
In and out of the hands of number 29, John Montgomery. John, he's just disgusted with himself.
There's an absolute case of running before he caught the pass. He was making the turn, actually, as the ball was coming into his chest. And if he'd have just waited 1 second, you know, timing is the name of the game. If the pass receiver waits 1 second too long, it might be too late. 1 second too long might be right in time. It's very difficult to understand why they do that.
Third down and 10. He has time. Has a reception. Todd Taylor, number 11, caught that ball at the Mark Morris 41-yard line.
And Mike Strange really put a hit on Mr. Carroll, number 12, after he threw that completed pass.
He paid for that
He
reception.
was decked.
Or that completion, I should say. He paid for that one.
He was hit awful hard. Very vulnerable position after you throw that pass for a quarterback.
Strange playing nose guard for the Monarchs. First and 10 from the Monarchs 41-yard line. Handoff to Reed. Reed drops it, and it's jumped on by number 61, John Jones, immediately. There is the first good break for the Papermakers tonight. The man looked a little concerned.
Yeah, you're going to see on this replay of this last play, quarterback quick handoff to number 24. He is hit immediately. The ball flops out in the air, and number 61, Don Jones, falls on it, and Camas maintains possession.
Second and 10 from the 41. Carroll handed off to Reed. Reed was met immediately at the line of scrimmage, and had he been going back for a pass, he was going to get nowhere because his counterpart, number 7, Brian Reeves, was just all over the quarterback.
Yes, he was.
Going nowhere in a hurry.
You know, I'd like to make a statement, Jerry, about that pass incompletion. You know, I heard once a long, long time ago that the spectators have all the privileges, but none of the responsibilities. And until you're out there, you know, it's a difficult thing to understand.
Carroll back to pass. Timing pattern. Taylor has it. And he's down to the 30-yard line. He is taking some punishment out there, and Taylor's going to be a little slow getting up there.
I think he got the wind knocked out of him because he got hit almost the same time he caught that pass. He's laying down there, and I'm sure he's okay. The coaches are out there to take a look at him.
He has made a couple of super receptions, and he has paid for it every time.
That combination, Carroll to Taylor, has been exceptional.
Let's go down to the sideline, talk to Jim Barney.
I'm with the Camas cheerleaders right now, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves real quickly.
Holly, Casey, Shelby, Jamie, Tracy, Carrie.
Okay, why don't you explain real quick exactly what this is in front of us?
This is our mascot. It's called the Mean Machine, and we usually use it when we're making touchdowns or have a good play or just to be exciting.
Okay, now so far you haven't used it very much tonight, but you're going to, right?
You bet.
Okay.
We're going to win.
All right, you heard it here first.
And Reese Kaler on the double reverse gets down, it looks like around to the 25-yard line over on the right side.
They picked up about 3 yards on that play, and they faked it to the front man and handed it to Mr. Taylor coming off the wing back, and most of the yardage he got was sheer power.
Oh, let me ask you this, Joe. We've seen a lot of the running backs slipping on the turf. I get the feeling that all these handoffs could be dangerous. They could be playing with fire.
Well, the handoffs are not the tricky part. It's when they're trying to change direction that they're having their problem. There was a beautiful pass, and I have to leave your question, but that was an outstanding pass between two defensive halfbacks or defensive men back there, and he just threw that pass right through the middle of both of them.
Into the game and the receptions, number 80, Luke Straight for the Papermakers, and now they are suddenly threatening on the front door of the Mark Morris Monarchs.
Here's that pass play we just saw. The quarterback fades back. He takes about 3 steps back, right in between two of the defensive men, and just linebacker and halfback, actually, and of course he picked up all the yardage he needed for first down.
Inside the 10-yard line with a first down. Papermakers sensing an opportunity here. Carroll has a man wide open, number 29, John Montgomery, and the Papermakers draw first blood here tonight at the Paper Palace in Camas.
There's that quarterback. The quarterback that can throw is a valuable weapon.
Well, now maybe we'll hear that machine go into motion that the Camas cheerleaders were just talking about. 6-0, Camas over the Mark Morris Monarchs here.
Beautifully.
Second quarter, late in the second quarter, I should say.
That was a beautifully executed play, Jerry, and I hope we have that on the replay.
58, Greg Stoller to kick the extra point. It's up. It's got the distance. It's good. Splits the uprights, and it's 7-0. Camas over Mark Morris with 4:15 left in the second quarter. 7-0. We'll be right back. Carroll to Reed in an 8 yards, 6-point scoring touchdown pass, and Camas draws first blood here at 4:15 to go in the second period at the Paper Palace in Camas, Washington. I don't know what they call this stadium, but I call it the Paper Palace.
It's a beautiful stadium.
It really is.
It really is. Well-kept field. It looks like it's been kept up real good.
From 13-yard line, it is Jeff Denny, and Denny out over the 20, close to the 25-yard line. I am now told this is the Dr. Harris Stadium.
Okay, here's what we were talking about earlier, Jerry. Here's what team experience is. You see the quarterback fake a handoff, bootleg to the left, and he's got a man that's going cross-field, number 29, and puts it right in the numbers for a touchdown. That was a beautifully executed play.
Well, Mark Morris now with a chance to return the favor. First and 10 from their own 30-yard line. Davis back to pass, looking. He has a John Denny, I think that was. Yes, he has a wide receiver open, and he connects with number 82.
Another beautiful pass. He was rolling out to the right, and on the dead run, he finds his receiver and hits him right where it counts. Here's a replay on that play. He fakes a handoff. No, he just rolls to the right. He sees his man open. He fires on the run and hits number 82 right on the numbers, and that's the way the ball is supposed to be played.
From what I have seen so far, it seems that when Matt Davis goes back, rolls out to either side, he's got a lot more time.
Yes, he does.
And yet, they're not doing that enough. I don't know. Like you said, it's easy to coach from up here in the 50-yard line.
Right. He has outstanding runners, too. They're trying to open up the game a little bit. The run, pass, variation. See number 24 on that particular play. Picked up about 8 yards, about 7 yards on that play. You got to run and pass and run and keep that defense honest.
That was Toby Infield, and he's met by his respective number 24 counterpart, Randy Reed, the inside middle linebacker. Bring up second down and long forward. And they are just inside the 50-yard line stripe, so they are in paper-maker territory.
Most of the game has been played right here in front of us.
Right here in front of us.
We've had an excellent seat on the 50-yard line, and of course, except for that touchdown where they scored from the 8-yard line, that's the only time the ball has been away from midfield.
Davis again to pass. And he has his man, Rich Wilson. And Wilson, again, slips down at about the 36-yard line. It is really slippery out there.
Yes, that pass was a little behind him, too, and he fell in reaching back for it. However, number 9, Matt Davis, is a scrambling quarterback. He likes to roll right. He likes to roll left. He doesn't like to sit in that pocket, and that's probably the difference between him and Carroll. Carroll sits in the pocket, and Davis likes to scramble. But they're both excellent passers, and you want to make sure you know that. They're both doing a great job. Here's some of our happy fans.
Well, we've been talking here tonight about what we're going to be doing in the upcoming weeks here, and we've got a bit of a program change for you. We have opted for a AAA game for next week. Hudson's Bay at Evergreen, and it should be a good contest, and most importantly of all, because Joe, you and I will again be at McKenzie Stadium, high and dry.
That's a beautiful field.
Yes, it is, especially when you're dry in the announcing booth.
Well, we got 2:15 left in this quarter, and Mark Morris called timeout, which was a good idea to get their offense thinking touchdown, get back on the scoreboard, and tie the score before halftime.
From the Camas 38-yard line, Davis again to pass, and simply underthrows his intended receiver.
there's that bootleg to the left. He fakes a handoff to his halfback, sits out there to the left of him, and he rolls out to the left. He had a man open. He just underthrew him.
And that was a flanker, Jeff Denny again.
That's one of the bad features of a running throw. When it works, it's beautiful. When it works, it's beautiful, but when it doesn't, it's usually because of the running quarterback.
Second 10.
Fumble.
And looks like we have a fumble on the play. Reese Kaler comes up with a number 44 for Camas.
It should be an incompleted forward pass. He flipped that ball forward to his halfback, and if he drops it, it's an incompleted pass. Now, let's see what the referees decide. They're having a little conference on it now. Legally, it should be considered an incompleted pass. It was just a little shuffle pass forward, and it's an incompleted pass.
That's what they call it.
You're going to see here on this replay, the quarterback drops back and shuffles it forward to number 24, and he threw it behind him, but it is a forward pass, and that's what they ruled it. So Mark Morris does keep possession.
Well, we just have been informed that Gordon Elliott is here. If you're a follower of the Camas Papermakers, you know that Gordon Elliott took off for supposedly greener pastures, I guess you could call it, the Columbia River High School. That pass is completed to the flanker, Jeff Denny there, pickup of maybe a yard on the play, bring down a 4th down and 9 yards. Anyway, Gordon Elliott is supposedly somewhere here in the stadium. I thought he might have had a game tonight.
Well,
or maybe they're playing tomorrow night. Or
they may be. They may be.
So anyway, if perchance it works out, we'll try and have a conversation here with Gordon, or maybe we can get him down the sideline.
Yeah, we have 4th down, and they're going to go 4th down with 1 minute and 31 seconds left. They got to get something on the scoreboard, and they're going to go for it.
Oh, okay. We're looking at the schedule here. Columbia River is at Fort Vancouver at Kiggins Bowl tomorrow night. So hopefully we'll get Gordon Elliott up here, and we'll have a talk.
Yeah, we have a flag on the play. There's a delay of game. Mark Morris took a little bit too long before they started the next play, so they're being penalized 5 yards. So now it's 4th down and 15. They're going to have to throw the long one. They can't go for the 5 and 6 yards unless they got plenty of blockers up in front. Screen pass with a lot of blocking. Oh, they're going to kick.
Dar Kirk again, a long setback for the Papermakers. Kick is up. It's a high one. Kirk is going. It's going to go over his head, and it looks like it's going to bounce
about the 3-yard line.
About the 3-yard line, and I think Mark Morris did the exact right thing.
Yeah, there's too much time on the clock to give him the ball there if the play didn't, materialize. So they're going to have to do some real good moving here to score again. I think probably if I was coaching Camas at this time, I would probably just run out the clock and go in with a 7-0 lead. This is where you want to avoid all the unnecessary ball handling.
Pinned against their own front door. And it looked like Randy Reed. Reed picks up a couple of yards. A little more breathing room there.
That's a quick handoff right up the middle. Like I said, the least number of people handling that ball at this time, the better off you are. I'm just surprised that they don't call timeouts a little bit more in high school football. They usually walk into the locker room with 2 timeouts left and a half apiece. And
speaking of which, head coach Al Antek is going out there to talk things over with his offense.
Yeah, if he's going to do anything, if he's going to try to score, he's going to have to throw long and hope that, it gets them way out of danger, because they're still in the danger territory at that end of the field. And, every game we've had so far, there's been maybe 1, maybe 2 timeouts called in the half. And, we've always had situations where 30, 40 seconds left on the clock, they could score if they took a couple timeouts. And we're not saying the coaching isn't good. We're just saying we just don't understand why some of the coaches don't call more timeouts. Even a defensive coach would call a timeout if he could, get the ball.
Feature this year on KCOL, the Winner's Circle, which features game highlights, interviews with the coaches and players. There's also going to be a segment in which you, the caller, or the viewer, can call in, ask your questions directly to the guest. That's the Winner's Circle, live on Channel 25 Tuesday evenings at 7 o'clock. However, right now, 2nd down and 5. Again, Reed gets the call, picks up a couple more yards, a little bit more breathing room for the Papermakers, and we're down to 43 seconds, and they blow the clock dead.
Well, they're going to measure. It's pretty close to a first down. I guess they're going to bring the line markers in to check it out, but it looks like he's a little bit short.
I'm not sure, but that Mark Morris didn't call that timeout. Not sure.
I think maybe the coaches might be listening a little bit because he called. Well, see, now here's the advantage of calling that timeout.
Well, they're in a booth right next to us.
Well, here's the advantage of calling that timeout. Now, if Camas should fumble or there's a bad snap from center or whatever, they get the ball deep in that territory. They've got a lot of time on that clock. They could score. And 7 points puts us to an even ball game. That's the way they started, and that's the way I think they'd like to walk into that locker room at the half. I think it's a smart move.
43 seconds, 3rd down, so possibly they'll get the ball back with, say, around 30 seconds. It would behoove them on a 4th down if they can keep them from getting the 1st down. On a 4th down, it would behoove them to really put an all-out attack on the kicker.
Well, they can hold them here. If they can stop this 1st down and call another timeout, they'll still have enough time to even kick a field goal, get on that scoreboard.
3rd down and less than a yard to go for a 1st down for the Papermakers.
Boy, he had a little trouble, but he made it.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to make it there. And 38 seconds left to go on the clock. Interesting development, in case you didn't read it in the newspapers here in the last couple days, it has been announced that Duke Wallenborn, the high-scoring machine for the Mountain View Thunder basketball team, has opted to sign with the Washington State Cougars. And Joe, that brings up an interesting point here. We're going to be doing basketball this season, have a chance to look at Duke Wallenborn. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I understand his father is a great coach, and I think his father also graduated from
Washington State.
And
yes.
you know, it's nice to have a father-son combination at the same school. It brings back memories. It's nicer for Dad to go for homecoming games and alumni and all this. And I think it's great that Duke has decided to go to that school. I understand he's had a whole lot of great offers, and he's a great potential star.
Well, he's a blue chipper. He was listed like in the top 10 in your high school blue chip magazine. The man is heavily recruited by everybody, east and west, north and south, and the man with all these 4-year scholarship offers decided to go with Washington State. Congratulations.
Here's a case where Mom Wallenborn can say like father, like son, right? And it's a great way to say it.
Averaging 22 points a game last season, I'm told by our statistician over next to me here, Eli. He says thanks, yeah.
Yeah. They got the 1st down. I think the coach went out and said, let's just sit back on what we've got. And, well, he may try to throw a long one to number 11, Taylor.
Taylor split out. Well, he's
quite wide.
Yeah, way to the bottom of your screen. In fact, he's out of view right now.
Yeah,
well, like you said, Joe.
They're just down in it.
Yep.
Good move. Safety. 7 points is a safer lead than, you know, very short lead, 7-3 or a tie score. There's no sense playing games. The ball is not that dry. The field is not that dry. Get the boys in the locker room and come out the 2nd half and start over again.
Well, Antak, Coach Al Antak of the Camas Papermakers is going to be playing it a little close to the best right now, I should imagine. Like you said, Joe, going into the locker room with a 7-point lead.
Yeah, even the quarterback that time slipped and fell rather than just dropping the knee to the ground. Well, that's the end of the half.
And it is. We have played 24 minutes of football here at the Paper Palace in Camas, Washington. And right now, the Papermakers are on top, 7-0 over the visiting Mark Morris Monarchs. We'll be back with the kickoff of the 2nd half and more halftime action. Stay with us. This game is far from decided.
welcome back to Camas. Our score at halftime is the Camas Papermakers 7 and the Mark Morris Monarchs nothing. I'm Jim Barner, and the first half was pretty much what I expected. It was basically both defenses stopped the run, and there was a little bit of success passing the ball, and that's how Camas scored their touchdown, was through the air. So still a good ball game. It's 7-0 Camas, and we expect a good second half. Joining me now here on the sidelines is Kevin Hastings, and Kevin is the host of the Winner's Circle, which airs Tuesday nights on KCOL. And Kevin, I know you've had quite a bit of success with the show so far. I believe you're coming up. This will be your 7th week, if I count right.
Yeah, it is the 7th week, Jim. And this week we're going to look at the Camas Papermaker program. And Al Antak will be our guest on the Winner's Circle. And Camas is starting to turn it around. And we're going to talk to Al and find out, what he plans for the future and how he plans to keep it on top.
Okay, now the name of the show is the Winner's Circle, and right now it looks like you're going to have a winning coach if things stay the way they are.
Things go a lot better when I have a winning coach. He smiles a lot more and actually will talk to me, so things work out good. I hope, without upsetting the Mark Morris fans, I hope Camas holds on for Al's sake.
Okay, now there are a few different things. You have the coach on, but then you'll have an occasional guest, I believe, once in a while, and then you'll also take some phone calls.
Well, sure. We like to have a couple of the kids from Camas come along. Al will bring along a couple of players that I think he thinks deserves mention on the program, and they'll talk a little bit about what they do to prepare for a game, and then we'll also take a few phone calls, hopefully from some fans who want to know what's going on at Camas and also around the Greater St. Helens Football League.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to seeing the show on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock.
You got it, Jimmy.
Okay. All right, we're going to toss it back upstairs to Jerry Taggart and Joe Cerami for the start of the second half.
Well, thank you, Jim. And yes, that's the Winner's Circle every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, with my definition of a real winner, Kevin Hastings.
I was just looking at an article here in the Camas paper. In 1984, Camas had a record of 1-9. And 9 of the seniors out there tonight were on that team that had that 1-9 record. Since they have been together for the past 2 years, they are 10-3 here now. They have won 10 ball games and lost 3, and that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier when it comes to experience, and that's what the quarterback has out there. They have an outstanding defense of returning seniors, and they have several returning seniors in that offensive line, and that's what's made the quarterback feel a little bit more secure back there in that Camas offense.
And our thanks to Steve Rupp, one of the veteran writers for the Camas newspaper there, who provides a lot of information and statistics that we use during the game. It's a good man. I've had a couple of conversations with him, and if you want to find out what's happening in the Camas sports scene, Steve Rupp is your man.
Yes, he covers everything that's happened to this group of boys since they've been here since 1984, and does an outstanding job of telling all the things that have happened to them and how they've coordinated and become one solid group this year. Mark Morris is doing a good job defensively, and they have tested the 2 positions that we discussed earlier. They tried to go up the middle, and Bartkowski has done a great job in replacing Dan Grafton, the senior who is out with the knee surgery. And believe it or not, he is sitting down there with a microphone or a megaphone or whatever they call those things, a cheerleader's gadget, and he is just screaming his head off. And John Lane, number 22, has a dislocated shoulder. He is a cornerback, and he is a senior who has had an outstanding year, and of course they don't have him. And that has been the areas that Mark Morris has tried and tested, and they have done well. They have done well.
Well, one thing about being a high school coach, you're always in transition.
Oh, yes.
You're lucky if you get a quarterback for 2 years.
Oh, yes.
Last year, Sapinski's Monarchs, head coach John Sapinski of the Mark Morris Monarchs, they started out with 6 consecutive losses. They turned that around and ended the season with 3 consecutive victories. So they ended up 3-6, as it were, on the season. However, those last 3 victories were league victories, which is always great for the morale of the team. So this year, Coach Sapinski was hoping to build on that momentum. And I guess it would be safe to say it's been a disappointing season for the Monarchs. But as disappointing as it possibly is for them, it is league play. They're 0-2, and the people they're playing tonight, Camas, is in the same boat.
Yes, in all the games that we've covered, here's the first half statistics. I'd like to give you those. Mark Morris, 4 first downs, 38 yards rushing, 35 yards passing for a total of 73 yards. Camas, 8 first downs, 29 yards rushing. And here's a great difference in the ball game, 96 yards passing, and most of that was done in the second quarter for a total of 125 yards and 1 turnover. So far, with the field condition the way it is, they have done a great job in maintaining possession. Turnovers have been almost nil. And the passing in that second quarter brought about the touchdown, and that's the difference right at this point, 7-0 Camas.
Actually, the big difference you could point out is just about 50 yards of passing, and from what we've seen, the running game is just not going anywhere tonight. Anytime they try and cut back in, out, or any position, if they're not going in a straight line, chances are they're going to trip, fall, slip in the mud.
There's a song that goes slip sliding away or something like that. Well,
something like that.
Out there, no matter what kind of a shoes they're, what kind of cleats they're wearing under their shoes, it just doesn't seem to be helping them at this time.
So we're ready to kick off the final 24 minutes of action here at the Paper Palace in Camas, Washington, and the second half is afoot. 7-0 Camas over the Monarchs. John Denny, I should say, gets the kickoff. And he gets out over the 25-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 27-yard line. Well, Mark Morris's potent offense will try and get things together here in the second half of action.
There's quite a difference in high school and college and professional. Usually on a punt or kickoff, there's usually flags all over the field for some kind of a clip or a bad block. And we've been very fortunate in high school. We haven't seen very many flags on the kickoffs.
From their own 28-yard line, Matt Davis calling the signals. Hands off the first play of the second half to number 24, Toby Enfield. Enfield might have gotten 2 yards on the play. Set him up briefly here offensively for you. The main people to keep in mind: number 9, quarterback Matt Davis; running backs 29, Jay Upgrand; number 24, Toby Enfield; and number 82, the flanker Jeff Denny. His receivers, Rob Perry and number 86, Rich Wilson. Those are the people going to get all the action tonight. And in place of Rob Perry right now is number 81, Rob Mertz. So that sets them up there offensively for you. Split down and wide to the bottom of your screen is number 20, Bobby Innes. Second down and 8. Handoff again to Enfield. Enfield over the 30-yard line, stops short of the 35. We bring up a third down and about 4 yards to go. Make it a short 4.
They lined up in an I formation that time where they fake to the front man. He becomes the blocker, and they hand to the deep man, who's back about 7-8 yards and gets a real good running start into that hole, and picked up about 4 yards, which is a good gain for that play.
Third down at the 34-yard line in a long 4. The pitch out to Enfield. He drops the ball. Who's going to drop on it? And number 76, Rich Barkowski, the man that they've been testing all night. We talked about him in place of the injured Dan Grafton.
Well, here's a play that should have went for 6 points. Instead, they not only don't get the touchdown, but they turn the ball over. I think a ball hit his hip pad or something, because it just fell out of his hand. You're going to see here a pitch back to number 24, and here's a hole that's as big you can drive a truck through it. He's all alone, and he's trying to do something with the ball, and it just drops out of his hand, and there was nobody near him when he dropped it.
That was Rob Reed, number 24, providing the offensive pressure there. And as you said, Reed was close, but nobody really touched the ball there. Taylor in motion. And a handoff went to Randy Reed, and Reed gets himself down to the 40-yard line. Papermakers trying to take advantage of this first turnover of the second half.
That was just a quick hitter to the left side. Now the halfback had a straight shot through the hole, so there was no shifting, no trying to change directions. And of course he had all the momentum going and picked up a quick 6 yards.
Second down and a long 4. Taylor gets it. Flag on the play. Taylor is down close to the 30-yard line, about the 32. They'll mark it. However, as I said, there is a flag on the play.
I think you're going to find that holding on the part of the offense. I'm just guessing, but I think number 72 was on top of the man and just held him down to avoid anything. And I think that's going to be 15 yards, or it should be. There's 10 yards.
Well, referee Bill Cheatley makes the indication it is going against the Camas Papermakers there. The official crew tonight, your referee Bill Cheatley, umpire Eldon O'Brien, linesman is Bob Rose, your line judge is Brad Waspick. And again, the gentlemen in the zebra uniforms doing an excellent job here at the Paper Palace in Camas.
They really are. They're doing a good job.
Again, Kaler in motion, going towards the top of your screen. Long count. Carroll's looking to pass. Has a man open. That's Kaler. Kaler down over the 20-yard line. He's finally tripped up by number 6. That's Aaron Swanson of the Mark Morris Monarchs. If Swanson hadn't been there, it would have been 6 more points for the Papermakers.
Yeah, it was Swanson who made the tackle, but it was also Swanson's man who caught the pass. He was responsible for the deep man, and he didn't get over there fast enough. And they flooded that area with 2 pass receivers, 1 short and 1 deep, and the deep man was left wide open.
Yeah, it looked like it was almost a timing pattern, only Carroll kind of held up on the ball, letting Kaler get a little further downfield.
Yeah, he waits and sees which one is open. If the front man's open, he'll throw short. If the deep man's open, he'll throw deep. It's flooding the area with 2 receivers.
The handoff to Randy Reed. Reed over the right side, picks up a couple more yards. About a 2-yard pickup on the play, bring down 2nd down and 8 yards.
Remember the last time they were down in this area, they tried that bootleg left pass where they threw for the touchdown, and this would be an ideal time. They got a lot of room ideal spot. They got a lot of room on the left side of the field. They could run that again.
Out of your screen to the extreme left is Rod Taylor, number 11. That's Reed in motion.
Oh, boy.
Well, it looks like John Montgomery got the call that time. Again, there is a flag called, thrown, I should say, in the offensive backfield. Wait and see what the indication is. However, that's usually
illegal motion.
Illegal
Usually,
motion.
when they got a man in motion that far, I think he went forward just a little bit too soon, and he's not allowed to go forward at all. They're talking to the Mark Morris captain, and I'm sure it'll be a 5-yard penalty.
You notice the little guy just running out of your screen right now. They have been polishing off and wiping off the ball virtually every down right now. As nice as it looks out there, and looks can be deceiving.
Well, you know, the later it gets, the cooler it gets, and that brings about that damp air. And that damp air, you know, just creates a little bit of a problem for the ball as well as the field.
I'm reminded of when I was a youth during the summer times playing on a slip and slide. That's about what it's like trying to cut in field out there right now.
This is a definite pass situation, Jerry. You got 2nd and 14.
They're stacking the left side, Taylor and Taylor. He's thrown to the left side. He has Taylor. Taylor has the ball. And it looks like he's going to be down inside the 10-yard line. They marked it at about the 7. Again, Camas is threatening.
Now they're moving the yardstick, so that's enough for the 1st down. And that number 11, Mr. Taylor, has done an outstanding job of receiving that pass tonight from number 12, Mr. Carroll. You know, we have to pick the player of the ball game from that team, and right now we may have to pick 2 from Camas because both 11 and 12 are doing just a beautiful job out there.
Could make it interesting. I wonder how many pizzas they're allotted.
Well,
we could let them out tonight. We're getting a lot of great performances from a host of different Camas Papermakers.
There should be a flag on that.
There's a flag on that. That was a late handoff by the quarterback, Brian Carroll, and Carroll lost the ball and simply fell on it, so they're going to lose a couple of yards on that, and he could lose more depending on which way the flag goes.
I think everybody moved on both sides before the ball moved, and even the referees were moving on that because there was just a little bit too much time there. Illegal procedure.
Yeah, they're taking a long walk backwards.
Now they're setting up another pass play here. They'll probably flood the right side and probably shoot left this time. It's actually, 1st and goal for 1st down.
It will be 1st and goal. 1st and 13. Again, we're going to have a little movement on the line there.
Looks like they're going to get that 5 yards back.
It looks like they are. Now, encroachment.
Yep. against the... I think the quarterback is changing his cadence count, and that's disturbing both teams. Not only the Camas team on the play before this, but with Mark Morris' team on that play. They were moving along before the ball was even thought about being put into play.
So after a penalty 4 and a penalty after, we're back where we started. First down and goal to go from the 8-yard line. Carroll on a keeper. Great bootleg. And intended receiver Reese Kaler, number 44, could have had that, but he slipped.
Oh, well, actually, I don't think he could have caught that even without slipping. That was thrown about 3 yards behind him. Had that been thrown out in front of him just a yard or two, he would have made the completion and a touchdown.
Well, maybe Director Dave can give us one of those good ship lollipop reverse angle replays on that. Nope, not tonight? Okay.
We're not ready for that.
I guess the Goodyear blimp isn't flying overhead tonight. Second down and 8. The pass. Taylor. Touchdown, Camas. Taylor had that, and he was simply pushed out of bounds by the Bill Reed, the lone defensive back around there.
There's that timing pass we were talking about. That's strictly timing. The quarterback just steps back a yard or two and just tosses it into the post in the end zone, and the receiver is there, and it's 6 more points for Camas.
That was Rich Wilson and Matt Davis back for the defense for Mark Morris. My apologies there. Whoever it was, they didn't get their assignment right, and Camas is 6 points richer. Who's going to fall on it?
It really doesn't make
It really doesn't matter.
That's an unsuccessful point try.
A bad snap, but it is 6 points for the Camas Papermakers with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. They're on top of the Mark Morris Monarchs by a score of 13-0. More third quarter action when we come back. Stay with us. Brian Carroll to Todd Taylor. Another aerial display from the Camas Papermakers, and they go up 13-0 over the Mark Morris Monarchs. Could have been 14-0 except for a bad snap on the point after. So anyway, they'll be kicking off from their own 40-yard line. And we're back in action. Infield. It's by Couple, finally dragged down at the 25-yard line. Amongst others in on the tackle there was number 88, Darren Hammock.
Isn't it amazing what a break will do? That outstanding run by our friend Toby Enfield, where he fumbled, turns the ball over, and gives 6 points to Camas. He didn't do it intentionally, but that's what a turnover brings about.
First and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Well, Davis hands off, which you could call an aborted student body right. Toby Enfield, the ball carrier on there, picks up a couple of yards.
That's what you call doing it all yourself. There wasn't any blocking, and there was about 4 black shirts there that they just kind of congregated and met at the line of scrimmage, and he just bullied himself for the yardage that he did get.
Second and a long 6, just short of their own 30-yard line. In the I formation. That was Infield in motion. Davis back to pass.
Just a little bit behind him.
Just a little bit. Again, the intended receiver, Toby Enfield, tried to stop his motion, slipped down on one knee. Things are going to have to be really pinpoint tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, again, I have to state, number 9 was not planted. He did not plant and throw. He was on the roll. He rolled to the left, and it's very difficult, especially when the footing isn't secure, to complete that kind of a pass. Now, he has an outstanding arm. I'll give him that much. And
third down and 6. Davis to pass.
In and out.
In and out. John Newton, number 22, is the intended receiver there. Well, as we look upon the scoring leaders after 6 games in the Greater St. Helens League, we don't find anybody amongst the leaders from these two teams. Our old friend from Kelso, Darren Wishard, way out in front of everybody with 80 points, 13 touchdowns, and a 2-point extra point. Second goes to Jay Rogers in Prairie. He has 60 points. Right now, third place goes to Todd Graves, that tough running back from Battleground. He has 48 points. Right on his heels, James Wise with 47. Below kick will be handled by number 27, Dar Kirk.
Now,
And
there isn't one black shirt within 7 yards, and there's all white shirts. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 7 white shirts on that poor punt receiver, and just to get up and run off the field it should give the guy some kind of an award, because he has been getting hit by 5 and 6 guys every time.
Well, as low as that kick was, if Camas had been doing its defensive assignment there in the blocking,
He could have got some yardage, yes.
Got some yardage, definitely. As it is, first down and 10 from their own 40-yard line. That's Kaler in motion. Handoff to Reed again. Reed getting a lot of action. Picks up a couple of yards, bring down second down and 7. The other scoring leaders here, as we have them, James Wise is Mountain View, as I said, with 47 points. Tim McNall, Hudson's Bay, with 44. Jason Radcliffe, one of those quarterbacks, 2-quarterback option that they have there at Kelso, has 42 points. Doug Graham, Hudson's Bay, 38. And Scott Warina, 30 points. The top-rated passer in terms of touchdown is number 12 out there.
First down.
7 touchdowns. Well, make it 9 touchdowns. He's thrown another
2 tonight.
Another 2 tonight.
Yes. Both of them were in the end zone.
That was Mark Zolo, number 33, with the handoff that time, and he got us another first down for the Papermakers.
And he did that mostly on his own, too. He bullied his way for that yardage and carried 2 white shirt Mark Morris ball players in the process.
In Monarch territory now at the 48-yard line. First down and 10. And a handoff there to Darren Hammock, number 88 that time. And Hammock, another first down for Camas.
We're going to see here on this replay, the quarterback fakes to the one man, hands to the second man, number 88, Hammock, and he just comes to the left side, breaks through an arm tackle, and is finally down by number 88, Tony Silveri from Mark Morris.
From the 35-yard line of Mark Morris. Carroll hands off. Again, Mark Zolo gets the call and picks up a couple of more yards. Over the 35 down to about the 33-yard line. Bring up a second down and a long 8.
There's a case where the halfback was a little late getting that handoff. The hole was there, and if he had gotten there a fraction sooner, he'd have got that ball sooner, and he might have picked up some yardage. As it was, when he did finally get there, the hole was closed, and he had to break to the left.
3:18 and counting left here in the third period. Camas 13-0 right now over Mark Morris. Reese Taylor over the 25-yard line, bring up a third down and 3.
That's the same play they just ran to the left. They just ran the same play back to the right, and he cut back a little bit sooner, and that's the way he picked. That's the reason he picked up the yardage he did. There was no hole wide. He had to come inside. He picked a hole and picked up the yardage.
From the 29, Carroll facing third and short. Zolo again. He lost the ball. And it looks like Mark Morris jumped on it, and that's the indication from the line judge. And in fact, Mark Morris has another turnover.
Well, that was.
If I remember right, sorry, Joe, that's only the second turnover for Camas.
They have 2 apiece they have, and both of them have been, you know, kind of bitter.
And let's go down to the sideline. Jim Barner.
Okay, joining me here on the sideline is Camas papermaker Dan Grafton. Dan, you're injured. You want to tell the people at home exactly what happened?
Well, I got a helmet to the outside of my knee, and the knee collapsed inwards, and so it's kind of like a person hitching a high and a person hitting you low, and knee just came to a 90-degree angle, and it was over with.
You know, they've taken care of with surgery.
Yeah, they had orthoscopic surgery, and it's fixed up. It's on the road to recovery right now.
Okay, now I've noticed that you're, I don't want to call it a cheerleader, but you're down here rooting for these guys as hard as you can. Is it tough staying here on the sideline?
It's in your blood, and once it is, it's tough to get out. And you can't get out there and motivate them, but you can sure help on the sidelines.
Right. Okay, what about future plans for you?
Hopefully I can go to college. I really would. I really like to go to college. I got letters and stuff like that, and I just don't want them giving up on me. I'm going to play.
Have any idea?
Probably Montana State.
All right, well, good luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back up to you.
All right, Dan Grafton, still hopeful to come back. That's a serious injury.
Not this year. He's got about 6-8 weeks of recovering before he'll even be able to do anything, but he wants to play football.
Made my knee hurt just sitting here listening to him describe that. Ouch. Davis looking for an open man. Throwing way long. That's going to be interception. I should say intercepted by Dor Kirk, number 27. And where are they going to spot the ball? Oh, he's hyped right now.
They were looking for 7 points on that pass. However, he overshot his receiver, and of course the defensive man just waited for it and picked it off just like a punt.
Well, I don't know if we got a camera down there right now, but Dan Grafton in his wheelchair is going up and down the sidelines just about as fast as the rest of the team down there. He is really getting into this game.
And yes, I had a chance to talk to him before the game. I saw him come into the ballpark, and you could tell he's half out there and half in that wheelchair, really. And every tackle out there he's making as well as the boys. And it's a great feeling to be ahead, especially when you can't be out there to help.
I believe that's cameraman Craig. I understand that he is now over the pain, as it were, of having 4 wisdom teeth extracted at the same time.
Yeah, he had a smile on his face tonight. And
He had a face tonight.
It was for real. I mean, it was a for real smile. Last week, you know, it was fake it till you make it. And he got through great. He does a good job.
Now, these good friends of cameraman Craig sitting around telling jokes, trying to get him to smile, and that's the last thing he wants to do.
I'll tell you one thing. Our whole crew down there has just done a great job all season, and just doing a better and better job every week. It's hard to believe you can do that, but they are.
And again, Zolo seems to be a fixture out there in the offensive backfield now for the Camas Papermakers. He picks up a couple of yards, bring down 2nd down and 8 from their own 40-yard line.
Now, that's good coaching. See, that young man, the last time he carried the ball, he fumbled. Now, they give him the ball right back the first play to let him know that they trust him. They don't want him to feel bad that he fumbled, and that's what smart coaches do to good ball players.
Split out the bottom, out of the screen there, number 11, Todd Taylor. And again, a handoff to number 88, Darren Hammock. And Hammock is out over the 45-yard line.
Boy, he was missed right at the line of scrimmage. One jersey number, and I couldn't catch it. Just flew by him and landed empty arms and empty spaces, but he picked up a lot of yardage on a near tackle, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
It is. We have played 3 quarters of football here. We're down to the final 12. 13-0. Camas over Mark Morris. Back with the final 12 minutes of action right after this. Of 13-0. League contest. Very important game for both of these teams. Struggling at the early outset of league competition, both of them with identical 0-2 marks. From their own 45, Carroll, timing pattern pass out to Todd Taylor. Taylor is out into Mark Morris territory. They'll spot the ball at the 46-yard line. Another first down for Camas.
That's that Carroll to Taylor combination. It's been there all night long, and that number 11, he is doing a great job with those hands, boy. It's wet out there, and he's hanging on to everything that's near him.
He's been watching those Steve Largent films again.
Oh, you want to catch it, you'll catch it, and he does. Down to the 40-yard line. You know, we have a couple gentlemen that are scouting for some team next to us here, and we have a wall between us. But boy, whenever Reed carries the ball, they just panic over there, and I just heard him say, "Hang on to that ball," and he had it. There was no question about it.
2nd down and 4, just short of the 40-yard line. Reed single setback. He gets the call. Straight up the middle, and he gets down
First
to about
down.
the 36.
Very close to a first down. I'll say it's a first down.
And so will the referee and the chain people.
They're starting to listen to us down there, Jerry.
That's about time.
We've been calling them all year. I don't know what they've been waiting for.
I wouldn't mind coaching if I could sit up here and have this overall look. It reminds me of something like I saw at McKenzie Stadium. Chuck Hawthorne and Mountain View Thunder spent the first half of their last game that we televised up in the coaching booth. And gives you a great overall look of the game.
Only one bad feature in high school. You don't have enough time in between plays to send anything down to make sure it gets there in time. And that's what high schools don't have that the colleges have and your pros have.
On the delay, Reed picks up another couple of yards for the Papermakers. You can see the fans starting to get into this game. I guess it's easy when your team is leading 13-0. Looking for an open receiver.
Oh.
He has it. Dar Kirk, number 27. And they're down real close, knocking on the front door of the Mark Morris Monarchs. Well, we hope that you'll join us throughout the entire high school football season every Friday night here on KCOL Channel 25. Games begin, as always, 10 o'clock game night. We'll also be repeating each game on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Next week, a change of venue, as it were. We are going to be at McKenzie Stadium for Hudson's Bay at Evergreen. Take on Gene Morris, Plainsman.
Number 27 is our punt receiver here. You're going to see here on this replay what good hands this young man has. Number 12, Carroll fades way back. He's covered. Number 27 is covered defensively, but it goes right through the defensive man's hand and right into his hand. He's got good hands too. That young man, I can see why he's back there on the punts.
I'll tell you, Kirk wasn't the only one in line for a reception there. The defender had an equally good shot at that.
In fact, he had the first shot at it. And if he would have closed his hands a fraction sooner, he'd have made the interception.
Hey, a couple of future cheerleaders for the Camas Papermakers.
They're knocking on the door again. They're about on the 2-yard line, and they got a 1st and 2nd and 3 to go for a touchdown.
3 yards to pay dirt. Carroll hands off to Reed. Reed might have got a yard of that. They're calling a touchdown. Okay, well, he must have fell forward and barely got his body over the goal line. They tack on another 6 points. This one in favor of Randy Reed, number 24 of Camas. The Papermakers go out on top 19-0. This is just what Al Antec needed for the Papermakers, starting off the season 4-0, only to lose their first 2 league games. He's got to get this team back in if he has any aspirations at all or any hopes of courting a title.
Mark Morris has done a good job. The score doesn't indicate as good a job as they have done.
The kick is up. It's good. It is now 20-0. Camas over the Mark Morris Monarchs. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the game. There's 8:56 to go in the game. The Camas Papermakers have scored, and they now lead 20-0 over Mark Morris. Well, it's about that time again to start thinking of the most valuable player of the game. Stay with us. Right after the game, I'll have both players, one from Mark Morris and one from Camas, and award them their gift certificate from Smokey's Pizza. So stay tuned. And guys upstairs, it's about that time to start making your choice.
Toby Enfield, right up the middle. all on his own, and he gets out over the 37-yard line. Great individual effort there by number 24.
Yes, he's been doing a great job of running the ball, except for that one time when he was open and the ball dropped out of his hand. He's been doing an outstanding job of running that ball. He would be one of my top candidates for player of the game for Mark Morris at this time. I have some stats for the third quarter only. Camas, 4 first downs, 39 yards rushing, 82 yards passing for a total of 121 yards and 1 turnover. And I'll give you the rest after this play.
First down and 10. Davis back to pass. Looking for his man. Can't find anybody. He's going to eat it this time, and he really crushed to the ground back at the 30-yard line.
You can see here, Mark Morris in the third quarter, no first downs. That's 0 first downs, 23 yards rushing, 0 passing for a total of 23 yards in the third quarter and 2 turnovers. Now, the 2 turnovers have been key to Camas's offensive drives. You're going to see here, it looks like 3 yards, but he is hit immediately, but he just crawls over the top of the tackler, and then he's in the end zone. The referees have all got their arms going up. Who do you feel, Mr. Taggart, is your Mark Morris player of the game?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot right now.
Well, I know there's 2 of them down there that we both like, and I think Mr. Enfield, number 24, has really done a super job tonight, and so has quarterback number 9, Davis.
Matt Davis.
Yes, and we have a decision to make.
And it's going to be a hard decision tonight.
I think there's no doubt in our mind we have to select 2 from Camas, number 11 and number 12. I mean, there's just no way you can give any one of those gentlemen a pizza and the other one go home without one. So we're going to have to give 2 of them to the Camas quarterback and wide receiver.
Michael Laurel and Hardy, Rowan and Martin, Taylor and Carroll. Jeff Graves gets the call that time, and he bowls his way out over the 40-yard line, and he'll make it about the 41. Well, as we were just talking, Joe was giving us the stats for the third quarter. Hello, Brian. Cameraman Brian out there, showing you what he can do. Anyway, we now have the cumulative stats.
Here's the stats at the end of 3 quarters. Mark Morris, 4 first downs, 64 yards rushing, 35 yards passing, 99 total yards, 2 turnovers.
We'll get back to that in a moment. Davis back to pass, again looking for a receiver. And again, number 42 gets the call, Jeff Graves. All right, let's pick up on those stats again. As you can see, it's all Camas.
Oh, yes. Camas, 12 first downs, 72 yards rushing. And here's the big difference, 178 yards passing for a total of 250 yards and 2 turnovers. Camas has really done the job this third quarter, just made the great difference.
Al Antek, head coach of the Papermakers, obviously pleased with his team, talking it over. Dar Kurt, number 27. This is a single setback. He gets away from one defender. Tries to go outside. He's going to pick up maybe a couple of yards there. He's going to throw him out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
He picked up 2 yards and 7 white shirts. You know, we talk about picking 2 men for outstanding players of the game, but I don't know how many people can remember. I can remember when Army had Doc Blanchard and Glenn Davis, Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. Every ball game those 2 played, they were picked players of the game. And, you know, when you have 2 outstanding ball players, you've got to give it to both of them. There's just no way you can select one and leave the other out there.
Easy job for the Camas cheerleaders tonight. They've got the points on their side. They got the fans on their side. And it looks like they're having fun down there.
Well, we've been very fortunate, you know, all season long. We are not forgetting Mr. Grafton's injury, but we have been very fortunate. We haven't had any major injuries in any of our ball games. The kids have all had fun. Win or lose, that's the primary reason they're out there, is to have fun and learn how to play football and come out healthy.
Second down and 8 from the 27-yard line. Todd Taylor, number 11, split bottom of your screen, out of the screen. Reese Kaler gets a call, number 44, on the reverse, and he gets out over the 30-yard line, close to the 34-yard line. This football, I would remind you, this game is presented with the permission of the Greater St. Helens League and is intended solely for the use of our audience. Any recablecast or other use of this game without the written consent of the Greater St. Helens League and Columbia Cable, of course, is strictly prohibited. And there's the man we've been talking about there, Steve Rupp, main writer for the Camas newspaper there in the sports section.
He's probably taking some real good pictures tonight. Camas is leading 20-0.
Yeah, it'll be a happy report in the next newspaper.
And we see a flag just thrown in.
Reed got the call that time. That was Darren Hammock in motion, but
there's a holding penalty, and the referee indicated holding on the part of the Camas papermakers, and that's going to take them back.
Well, now, we've got some standings, how they're standing going into tonight's game, and we would remind you that nothing stays the same. Is he going to play football one of these days, you suppose, Joe?
Well, he probably wants to. His mom is probably thinking, I don't want him to, and Dad is saying he's going to. So we got, a three-way draw right now.
Now let's take a look at the standings now and see what we have here in the Greater St. Helens League. And we'll try and get to the standings right after this play. We'll start off with the AAA standings. 3rd down and 11. Camas going the wrong way right now. It's Kaler in motion. A long count. Back to pass. Ouch. Dark Kirk in and out of his hands.
The worst thing about getting hit that hard is you didn't catch the pass. I mean, to get hit that hard and catch the pass, you feel better.
Well, there you see the AAA standings coming down to the final game of the season. We're going to have it for you. Mountain View playing host to Kelso. Both of those teams undefeated. Right on their heels, though, Evergreen at 2-1. Hudson's Bay at 1-1. Fort Vancouver, Columbia River still looking for their first league wins. And that's the AAA standings, and hopefully that's probably going to stay as it is until that final game of the season. I'm looking forward to Kelso at Mountain View. You can see Al Amtek, head coach of the Papermakers there, with number 44, Reese Kaler, and they're looking over number 27, Dark Kirk. He is not getting up yet.
Yeah, I think he had the wind knocked out of him. He was hit pretty hard. As soon as that ball hit him, he was hit. And here's your
AA standings. Prairie on top, R.A. Long, surprise of this season. Battleground in contention, and there you see Camas and Mark Morris, but as you can see, no one is really out of contention yet. However, I should imagine between these two teams, after tonight, someone is going to go home bitterly disappointed.
And you're going to see here on this last play, we're going to see how number 27 was hit and how hard he was hit. You're going to see the quarterback.
You can see he's getting out under his own
quarterback is just going to drop back and hit him on a quick slant in. There it is, right there, number 20, and he is hit as instantly. That ball was right there, and he was hit at the same time. He was hit hard, and he's up and walking around, and that's great.
That was Aaron Swanson, number 6, on the tackle. Kicking situation. End over end, and it looks like it's going to go out of bounds right in front of our broadcast booth here at about the 48-yard line.
Well, they're going to mark it at 50, but it really doesn't make that much difference at this time. We have a little under 4 minutes on the clock, 3:56 to be exact, and Mark Morris is trailing 20-0. But anything can happen, and it's going to be a miracle if it does, but they say anything can happen. There you see number 27. He's still got the wind knocked out of him a little bit, but he's played a tough ball game tonight.
Davis looking to pass. Yeah, looks like he's out of bounds. That was number 81, Sean Lewis, on the reception.
No, I don't think he was out of bounds, but it was a great reception. The ball is...
We're trying to do two things at once out here, so you have to put up with us here for a second. Our most valuable players for the Camas Papermakers tonight. For the first time this season, Joe and I are stumped. We cannot decide between two players, so we are going to have two players from the Camas Papermakers as our most valuable player tonight. Number 11, Todd Taylor. Number 12, Brian Carroll. Davis back to pass. Has his man. That was Bob Ennis. Ennis, number 20, is down to the 20-yard line.
That was a beautiful pass right down the middle, right in between the two halfbacks, and picked up a lot of yards on that play.
We're down to 3 minutes left here in this contest.
You're going to see this replay here. Quarterback drops back, and he just splits the two halfbacks, and the very, very well thrown pass.
Finally brought down by number 34, Dexter Palmer. First down from the 20-yard line for Mark Morris, threatening here late in the game. Davis in a quick pitch, completely underthrew his man, and if he can stay out, he can't. Well, it was a nice try anyway. Number 75, Jimi Hendrix. No, he's not a rock and roll star tonight. He is a football star.
You know what he would have given to run into that end zone? He would have probably given up 3 years of college.
I think he was just as surprised as Matt Davis was that he ended up with that.
There was another slant-in pass, and it was thrown a little bit short, and of course went right into number 75 Hendricks' arm, and the Camas takes over.
Not much solace in the fact, but number 24, Toby Enfield of Mark Morris, can take consolidation in this loss today. He's getting a free pizza as our most valuable player for the Mark Morris Monarchs. Number 24, Toby Enfield. That was I shouldn't say that. That was John Montgomery in motion. Randy Reed with the ball there, and he is out over the 45-yard line. They'll mark it at the 46.
Well, they're just running the clock down now. We got a little over 2 minutes, exactly 2 minutes right now, and running down. And Camas can just hold on to the ball, get another first down here, and probably can run out the clock without putting the ball in the air again.
Second down and a short 3 from the 46. Reed again gets the call. And depending on where the referee decides to spot the ball, he's going to be real close to a first down. We're down to 1:30 left in this contest. While I have the time, I'd like to thank our production crew tonight. Producer Ken Lotka, Director Dave Wellingham is calling the shots tonight. On audio, we have Dean Koenig. Video engineer is Dave Kerr. On graphics, we have Jackie Valadez. Our cameraman tonight, Rich Gearloff, J.R. Cantrell, Brian Smith, and cameraman Craig McMillan. Stats, Eli Kendricks, of course. Production assistants, Steve Jacobson, Tanya Horning, and Dan Lehman. Third down and a yard for the Papermakers.
He's got the first down, and that ought to do it.
That was Mark Zolo.
Yes, we got about 56 seconds left on the clock. They'll move the chains now, and then they'll start the clock immediately. And they should be able to run off 2, maybe 3 plays, and this game will be over. Mark Morris can go home with their heads up high, even though a loss doesn't sound good. They played a pretty good ball game. The turnovers, the slippery field, the slippery ball. Of course, Camas took advantage of every opportunity.
And playing without 2 key defensive players, shutting out the Monarchs. I would have to give a note of congratulations down there to the man in the wheelchair, Dan Grafton, who has really been pumping up the team with his megaphone down there. He's really been noisy tonight.
I'm sure he'd rather be out there, and I'm sure he knows how valuable he can be sitting on the sidelines, but I don't like to see anybody in a wheelchair. I really don't.
It's hard to replace an all-conference nose guard.
Yeah.
However, Rich Bartkowski, to his credit, has done an outstanding job tonight and give him an interception. 2-1, and this game is history, folks. The Camas Papermakers finally get on the winner's board. Their first league contest victory of the season. Doesn't look impressive saying you're 1-2, but overall they're now 5-2.
Yeah. Last year we had a lot of if games. This year I don't think we are, but you know, if this team wins, that team wins, or if. Well, this year I think it's going to be pretty standard as to who's going to be your AA and AAA champions.
Hey.
Congratulations to both teams. They gave us a very exciting defensive game tonight. And right now, Jim Barner is down there trying to corral a couple of winners in their own rights. We're going to have 3 winners tonight. As I said, Joe, there's just no way you could separate Taylor from Carroll. 11 and 12. The combination worked all night long.
2 touchdowns, several hundred yards. I mean, not several hundred, 100+ yards in passing, and you just can't take it away from either one of them. You got to give it to both. I'm sure Smokies will not mind giving away an extra pizza to 2 outstanding ball players.
Again, I'd like to remind you, next week we are going to be at McKenzie Stadium. Hudson's Bay taking on Evergreen. And then the final regular season of the game, if things stay as they are, this one will be for the title of AAA football. Kelso at Mountain View. And if you remember last year, Mountain View went to Kelso with a 3-way tie possibility and beat them. I think, Joe, what was it, 33 or 30-something to nothing?
Well, the coaches that were sitting next to us, when they heard the halftime score, they picked up everything but the garbage can and left because they didn't have a chance. But Columbia River didn't leave any doubt. They won the ball game. They won the championship. However, this year, Columbia River is going to have to sit and watch. And I'm sure they don't feel too good about that. But Mountain View and Kelso have 2 of the most powerful teams in Southern Washington this year, and they deserve to be playing for that championship.
Should be exciting. Good AAA contest next week. And the title on the line, the final regular season game, Kelso against Mountain View.
Hey, that Hudson Bay Evergreen game should be a good game too. I mean,
neither one of them are out of it yet.
Evergreen is playing pretty good ball. You know, those young rookies we talked to several weeks ago are now the old pros, and Hudson Bay's got them 3 lightning fast half pints in the backfield. What do we call them? I think we gave them a nickname the last time we had them, but they run fast and they move.
Okay, we're going to go down to the sidelines now, where we have 3 winners with Jim Barner.
Here we go. Okay, joining me on the sidelines right now, the Smokies Pizza players of the game, and on my left is Toby Enfield, Jr. from Mark Morris, and a pretty rough game tonight.
Yeah, just couldn't get anything going really. Just, went from no running, couldn't really throw the ball that well, so.
Yeah, it looked to me like you couldn't establish a running attack, maybe, that maybe in turn didn't open up your passing attack.
Yeah, they just shut it down up the middle. It was around outside, it was there, but up the middle couldn't do anything.
Okay, now I live in Longview, so I follow you guys to a degree, and to me it seems like you're a better ball club than your record of now 1 and 6.
Yeah. We are, but just can't seem to put it all together.
Okay, next week maybe.
Hopefully.
Okay, well, congratulations on being the most valuable player for the game, and good luck on the rest of your game.
Thanks a lot.
All right, now joining me, a couple Camas papermakers here. Number 12 is the quarterback, Brian Carroll, and number 11, is Todd Taylor. And I'll talk to Todd first. You had quite a few receptions. I'm not exactly sure on the number, but I know a lot of times you were up in traffic catching the ball, and you showed pretty good hands.
Yeah, I credit Brian with all those catches because there's no way I could have got any of those without the perfect passes from Brian.
Okay, no way. I know a lot of receivers I've seen, they'll go over the middle and they'll hear footsteps and all of a sudden they get the short arm syndrome. Now, I heard him.
I heard him. I caught that one in the middle. And I came down with it and all I saw was a white jersey. And I got flattened out and I was laying on my back for a couple minutes there. I didn't know what to do. So
was it physical tonight?
Yeah, very physical.
Okay, right here, if I can get this loose, I've got a gift certificate from Smokey's Pizza. That's yours. Congratulations on being the most valuable player tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, right in here right now is Brian Carroll, number 12, the quarterback. You had a couple touchdown passes tonight. You got to be pleased with that.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And I noticed as the game progressed, I don't know, maybe it wasn't any worse, but I noticed that after every play you sort of limped slightly back to the huddle. What exactly is wrong with you, and when did it happen?
Well, last week I took one hit and or one good lightest hit of the night, but it kind of jammed my knee, hyperextended a little. So this week I got a brace on so it doesn't happen again.
Okay, is it one of those deals where it's injured, but yet you can still play on it as long as you wear the brace and you're careful?
Yeah, it's not really injured bad. So I don't know. I'll wear this for safety.
Okay. Now you guys got off to a real fast start. Your first, I think, 4 games of the season. You hit maybe a little bit of a slide. Now you get the win tonight. Is this going to help you finish out your season?
Yes, it will. gave us a little extra boost for next week.
Okay. Well, here's your gift certificate from Smokey's Pizza. Congratulations. Enjoy your pizza, and good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, a real good ball game tonight. Again, the final score was Camas 20 and Mark Morris nothing. Toss it back up to you guys for your closing statements.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Well, it was a good defensive game. Papermakers, as Jim said, win it 22-0.
Yeah, Brian Carroll threw 2 more touchdown passes. He was already leading with 6 passes. Then that brings his total to 9. He's a young man that looks like he knows what he's doing with that ball. Camas played a good all-around game defensively, offensively. Mark Morris just couldn't gel, and that's the way it was.
And that's the way it is here at the newly named Paper Palace in Camas, Washington, where the Papermakers prevailed 20-0 over the Mark Morris Monarchs. Next week, it is Evergreen playing host to the Hudson Bay Eagles. For Joe Cerami, I'm Jerry Taggart. We'll see you then, Vancouver. Have a nice one.